In what ways do you find fulfillment in writing that you may not have experienced in your previous role as an educator?
I'll tell you, I don't know if you know this about me, but I went to college on a full scholarship for engineering and I struggled. I was the only Black person. I was the only female. I was the only person from America, the only person that was under 21. And
Oh,
I felt out of
wow.
place. Nobody would really talk to me. It was like Hidden Figures, but 1997. And
Oh,
so
man.
I felt like if this was my passion, then I would be able to withstand the isolation. But
Mm,
now I'm isolated and this doesn't bring me joy. And
mm.
so I remember talking to my mom, and I thought that she was going to be all upset because I'm like, I'm changing my major. This is not for me. If I was supposed to be an
Yeah.
engineer, I would feel that joy, and I don't feel it. And so I switched my major to English, and I really didn't know what I was going to do with it. I know that writing is a passion. I told you in second grade, I identified that I love to write. I had
Yeah.
notebooks filled with writing, and even when I was sad and lonely at NASA,
Mhm.
in the afternoons or the evenings when I would come home, I would write poetry. And I wrote a book of poetry on that summer called Cycle of Tears because I was just tired of crying about everything. So in my NASA
Okay.
lab book is where I wrote poems. And so this was an indicator to me that writing brings you joy. And I
Mm,
also learned because I made a ton of money in my internships that
mhm,
money is not a motivator that was effective enough to fulfill me. When I switched my major to English, this
mhm.
is when I found this is what I'm supposed to be doing. Like I get overwhelmed with joy because one of my English
Yeah.
teachers, Adrienne Goslin at Cleveland State, she
Mhm.
wrote on one of my papers. This was my first semester as a English major. She said, as an English major, right? Um,
Uh-huh.
she said, I hope you are an English major. I love to read your words. I
Oh,
still have this paper with this
yeah.
comment on it. This was confirmation. And so I think for writers, you will get this confirmation over and over again that your words mean something. You
Mm,
know that anyone can write, but
yeah.
you'll know you're called to writing when your words serve others. My
Mm,
English professor, accomplished, degreed, expert, saw something in my writing that called me closer to the field. And so,
mm,
with this confirmation from her, and even if you're English major, you're always going to get a mixed bag of feedback on your writing. But if you can stay the course, even when someone thinks that your writing is a 1 star, and you feel like, okay, thank you for your feedback, I'm going to keep the meat, spit out the bones,
mm,
nothing can deter me from this path. In
mm.
engineering, the isolation was like, do I really want to do this? But in
Yeah.
writing, if there were times of isolation or moments where I felt like I was being overly criticized, I
Uh-huh.
could take it. I literally would sit in it, take it in, and really let it fuel the writing that emerged from it. There was
Mm.
nothing that could ever stop me from being a writer. And